Conversations with Marc and Devi, the mediums. Marc Stuart, the Scottish medium, and Devi Wolf, the smallest medium. Conversations on topical subjects. On subjects other mediums would not dare talk about, but we do. For a quick reading, we can talk to spirits now. Scottish style mediumship.
Well, hello everybody.
Hi there. How are ya? Did you miss us?
Here's a big secret, folks. I can do nice things like this, and then it's just me you have to sit and listen to.
Oh,
Or if I really want to be nice.
See, that's much better. You don't have to look at him, see?
Sorry for playing around, folks. It's just been one of those days.
It certainly has.
So, what are we talking about tonight, Devi?
We are talking about why there are so many spiritualist churches in Scotland.
And just how many spiritualist churches are there?
Well, I don't know exactly, but there's one per how many? 30?
Just under 31,000.
31,000.
It's about 30,900 people.
Yeah. And as compared to USA, which is 3.3 million or something like that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of countries in between. But
oh, absolutely.
Even the ones that come close to us, and that's places like Ireland and Wales, are still something like 2 or 3 times where we are.
Right, but those are also Celtic countries.
That's true. And we were going to mention that later, you know. We were.
Oh, we were? Oh,
we
sure.
Yes, we were. I think we were. So, I mean, I suppose...
Whoops, I skipped ahead.
That's what we're going to talk about, but let's have the news first. So, the first most important item of the news, I have a declaration to make to the world.
Okay.
I have come to passionately believe that the Scottish nation, the Scottish people, are in fact the chosen people of God.
Did he really say that?
Well, how else do you explain how many spiritualist churches we've got? I mean...
I think he's delusional. Uh-oh, Marc, I know it's been a rough day, but are you feeling well?
No, it's really been a bad day. Yeah, I'm being exceptionally humorous, folks. Yes. I'm not being serious. But at the same time, we did invent just about everything else on the world. I mean, if God wanted a people to be the chosen people, who else would he give inventions to?
Well, he's given inventions to lots of people in lots of different countries, so.
But nothing like what he's done to the Scots. I mean, name anything. Name any industry. Cycling. We invented the bicycle. Loos. We invented the toilet flush. I mean...
Nuclear energy.
I'll need to check up on that one. I don't think...
I don't think so.
No, hold on. Because it was a British project, a top secret British project, before the Yanks took it over during World War II.
Right.
So I think there were a lot of Germans and British people involved there. So I'm not saying we did. I'll need to do some research there.
Okay.
Computer.
The light bulb. There's another one.
Okay, well, you want to talk about electricity, telephone, television, internet?
Internet, well, that's that.
Aspects of it.
Okay.
Certainly a British man that invented the World Wide Web.
Yes, this I know.
And HTML, hypertext markup language. I mean, okay, right. We're getting down to many.
Anyway, we're supposed to be doing news, not arguing about.
So that's the first bit of news. Second bit of news. Now, this is not an absolute definite, so please don't all go running to book me. But there's a high probability I will be coming back to the USA twice between now and Christmas at very short notice. Very, very short notice. It's going to be like I'm announcing on Facebook, I'm going to be here next week. So if you do want to meet me, if you do run a church, please reach out to me now so that when I come, I can just respond and say, I'm going to be here next Sunday. Remember you said you wanted me to work on platform. I mean, I'm being slightly sarcastic, but there's not a lot of you out there that run churches. So, and I don't want to waste my time if I'm coming over. So just watch here for me suddenly announcing one Wednesday from America. Hi, Devi, I'm just up the road.
Oh, dear. We'll see if I can manage to get up there when he's up there. That's my goal. At least one of them, one time.
So there's that. The business that my wife, who's also part of what we do here in the background, has opened up the second clinic. So I have opened up that. She and I have made an offer for a new home, which has been accepted. So I'm working on getting the mortgage arranged. If and when all of that goes ahead, I will be working at 2 locations to do readings in Scotland. My current one, which is Pennycook, which is about 10 minutes south of Roslin. Devi, when you come over to Scotland, that is one of the top places that you're going to be visiting.
Okay.
In the town of Pennycook, which is in the Scottish borders. So again, just watch this space. I think that's about it. Oh, yes, and of course, we've started up our, as you've probably gathered, because we're talking about Scottish churches. This is our first chat on the subject of Celtic mediumship. I suppose the only other bit of news, we did the rapid fire, which was a tremendous success in terms of the way it worked. A few minor little tweaks we need to iron out for the next one, which will be, can't remember when, but we've got another one planned ahead.
At some point.
Yeah. Only got up to 40 readings, which really depressed me because I wanted to at least get over 55. But Devi said, Mark, you've got to stop. It's getting too late. I mean, it was only...
Yeah, we were going on 4 hours, and I was thinking, I know I was tired. I'm sure he was tired, but I knew people were kind of leaving. Gotta go.
There were still people there getting readings. They still were willing to let me work.
There were a few left, but yeah, we were going on 4 hours. So yeah.
Yeah, seriously, folks, the next one is going to be shorter because 4 hours is just too long, and we're going to get the number of readings up. I'm not going to. I was being I was going too slow for people at the beginning. I should have speeded it up much quicker.
Yeah. Yep. And I will prompt you if you do that next time.
Yeah. And she was the chair, so I'm blaming her. Right.
Oh,
anyway.
blame it on me. Blame it on me.
All right. So that's the news over, folks. So, first question. Why are there so many Scottish churches? I mean, seriously.
Well, you're the Scottish one, so let us know.
Let's put it into context. I mean, let's give you a little bit of background. I trained in a Scottish church and was totally oblivious to everything. Like just about every Scottish spiritualist was totally oblivious to the world outside of Scotland. And I seriously literally thought that the world was like Scotland. Go down to England, there are spiritualist churches, there's a lot of them, but they've got a much bigger population. So per capita, it's probably about 3 or 4 times what we've got here in Scotland. Been to Ireland, and there's actually more churches in Ireland than I realised. So I take my mouth back. I thought it was only 2, but there's actually a lot more than that. I just hadn't found them until I did the research. Wales I knew nothing about, except we met somebody from Wales in one of the circles, and she told us a little bit more, which fed into what we already done on the research. I went to America, went to Hydesville, where it all started with the Fox sisters, and I was driving around thinking, where are the churches? Literally couldn't find any bar one on my first trip. And that was actually a wee story about that. That's a church that I don't know if it still does, but it used to meet in the church where the minister's daughter, the Korean church, got picked up by your loony squad in masks. Anyway, nothing good about that. She got released, so that's good. Just a wee side story that sometimes you go somewhere, you do something, you forget about it, and then something in the news comes up and wallops you. Anyway, back to the story. I only found one spiritualist church. I came back to Scotland, going around all the mediums and all the churches. We've got to do something. We've all got to go to America and save their souls. And they looked at me and thought I was insane. And I've been going backwards and forwards to America ever since over the last 16 years. Haven't saved anybody's soul yet, as far as I know.
He keeps trying to save mine, but it's not happening.
Oh, God. If she's told me the truth about what she'd done, no, let's just not go there. But seriously, folks, I came back and tried to get some... I mean, at the time, I wasn't a practicing medium. I was sitting in a circle, but that was as far as it went. I came back and spoke to 2 or 3 churches, and I said, look, we have got to do something. And they just looked at me and said, why? What's the point? American mediums, when they come over, we wouldn't open the door for them. They're so bad. Now, I didn't actually meet any mediums on the first trip, bar two, and I would agree they were bad, but I hadn't gone around looking. And over the next decade or so, as I developed, became a medium, and was going over there, I can understand why people in Scotland reacted that way. But for me, that was still, we should get on planes and we should go there. I mean, chosen people
Right.
joke. I would take the worst Scottish medium and I would pit them against the best American. Maybe not the worst versus the best, but I would take your average Scottish medium and stack them up against all but maybe the top 1% of American mediums, and the Scottish ones would outperform them by a factor of 2 or 3. And I mean that seriously.
And yes, he's very up that, and I hope I'm in that 1% because, or 10%, because I don't want to be worse than the worst Scottish medium.
That bearing in mind the standard of mediumship in Scotland is so high that I don't think anybody can compare to it. So I suppose that's the next question. Is that related to the fact that we've got so many churches? Obviously it is.
Of course, because you have circles and people learn how to do mediumship. They become the sitters become the trainees who become the mediums, and it's a self-perpetuating kind of thing.
It's actually more than that. It's not just the number of, although I think this is a factor why we have so many churches. It's not that we've got so many churches, it's the way the churches are organized. One of the biggest differences between an American church and a Scottish church is that the American church are completely insular. You sit in a circle, you become a church medium, and you work on platform in your own church. I mean, we had somebody in circle, we had somebody at the, I'm not going to mention who she is, and I'm not going to mention exactly what she said, but she basically said that she had run her own temple for 35 years. Now, I know exactly what that means. That means that she's a working medium and she's running a church, and she may be a very good church, I don't know, but she will probably be the only medium that works in that church on a weekly basis. And if I said to her, I'm coming, can I be your guest medium for a week? I don't know. I mean, I don't know the woman. She only stayed for one reading.
I don't know. But
I've come across other mediums in other churches, and they don't like visiting mediums because they can show them up. Look at this medium who's very good. And people start saying, oh, can we get him back? I mean, I'm being sarcastic.
I
And
mean...
it does sound slightly egotistical because there's not many Scottish mediums that go over there and work in American churches. But I've been in Lilydale, and I've seen the reaction that people have had to me when the minute I say I'm a Scottish medium. Oh, we knew a Scottish medium. She used to live here and she was absolutely fantastic. And they start describing, and I'm just standing there thinking, but that's just standard. That's just average, what they're saying.
Yeah. But the Scottish methodology is so different than the American methodology that it stands out. I've had people have readings for me and say, wow, I don't know how you did that. That was way different than the other mediumship readings I've had.
Yeah.
You're amazing. You're going to do this. And I'm like, that's just because everybody else doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, we're not here to do training.
No.
We're not going to turn this into training and say what we do. But essentially, Scottish mediums go direct. They don't call out. They do it on an evidential basis. And even within that, I mean, I teach it. So Devi understands what I'm talking about. If you haven't been to one of our circles, you don't know what I'm talking about. But there's methodology in the way that you interpret the messages. There's methodology in the way that you get the messages. And there's confidence building that you go through, which takes time. You don't just come into one circle and feel confident. But you can see people that are coming into circles when we ask them questions. Oh, I've been doing readings for umpteen years. And then when you say to them, right, do a reading, they fall apart because you're putting them on the spot.
Yeah, it's happened time after time in our circles.
Yeah. Okay. So our churches are different. They're organized differently. They're all independent.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. But your video was going. I suppose the next question is why? How did we end up where we are with so many churches? Debbie, you've frozen. You've frozen, Debbie. Well, this is when I do this. Debbie? Okay, folks. Oh, are you back, Debbie? Calling
I
all
think
Debbies?
so. I think I'm back. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, you're back. Well, I blame it. I mean, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I blame it on the Romans.
On what? The Romans? Oh, why
I blame it on
why spiritualism
Yeah.
is still active in Scotland. Yes. Actually, he does, and it actually does make sense.
I mean, a wee history lesson. There used to be a tribe that covered the whole of Europe, well, the whole of Western Europe, called the Celts. Now, Germany, Spain, France, England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland. Then along came the Romans, Julius Caesar in particular. Nice big spears, nice big legions, and they conquered one after the other. Genocide, enslaved, taught nice civilized ways like Roman writing and all the rest of it. But the one place they didn't conquer was Scotland.
Right.
They made a couple of attempts. They did get slightly into Scotland and then they pulled back. But the final boundary was actually even outside Scotland. It was roughly where Newcastle upon Tyne is over to where Carlisle is, which is probably
and if you don't know geography, just imagine a small compared to our geography.
Yeah, but Scottish geography is like if you cross over the English border, the first area you reach are the borders. Now the borders are it's jump about 1,500 years into the future. There was the King of Scotland. There was what's her name, Elizabeth, the Queen of England, and the two of them had to get together and arrange to go and massacre the people in the borders because they couldn't get control of it. Right. Think of American history of the Wild West when people are going out, gunslingers, the cowboy gangs, little sheriffs here and there. Well, that's what the Scottish borders were like. I mean, it's pre-guns, maybe flintlocks, but local villages. They used to ride around. They used to cross over into the English borders, steal the horses, rape the ladies, and head back over to the Scottish borders. So that's the first thing you encounter when you cross over into Scotland. Well, historically, that's the first thing you encounter when you cross over into Scotland. You then go up the East Coast, and we're very civilized. I mean, I've got a very anglicized English accent. You go that way, and you hit Glasgow. And it's and I'm being slightly
sarcastic. But it's true. It's very hard to understand.
Yeah, but you keep going up the West Coast, and you hit what's called the Highlands. Now, the Highlands sort of go diagonally across the country. They sort of cut across. If that's Scotland, the Highlands go like that, and everything that way is the Scottish Highlands. Now, the geography in the Highlands makes it impossible to conquer unless you're a modern army with gun sights and helicopters and Land Rovers. It's big mountains, it's deep valleys, it's rain. I mean, if you think it rains in Scotland, whatever rain you imagine, make it 3 times worse for the Highlands. So basically, and of course, it was organized into tribes. Like, go back to the Wild West. So if the Scottish borders was the cowboys running around and robbing, the Scottish Highlands were the tribes of Native Americans. So they were all organized on the clan system. They all fought each other, but challenge their religion, challenge who the king is, and they'll all get up together and come flying down. And imagine 10,000 half-naked men with blue skin waving swords at you, coming down a slope like that, and you get a picture of what the people are like.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine that, and I love it.
A combination of all of those factors is why the poor little Roman legions never got much further than Newcastle.
Right.
So why does that mean we've got so many churches? Well, this is actually quite funny. I was in America. I was in one of my favorite bookstores in Buffalo. I walked in, and they had the crates. Like, what's the name of the bookstore, Devi? The ones that you and I
Barnes
kept.
and Noble.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
And they had a crate of books that they were selling at $3 or $4. And here was this one, The 6 Modern Spiritualist People. So pick it up, bought it, sat down for my coffee, leafing through it. And at the very end, there's an appendix. And tribe number 6 is Caledonia, Scotland. What?
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, I mean, basically they're right. I mean, we've had a lot of immigrants over the last 2,000 years, Vikings.
Of course.
We've had a lot of people from England. In more modern times, we've had a lot of Eastern Europeans come over in the 20th century. But the culture and the majority of the people in Scotland could quite easily trace our genes all the way back to those ancient tribes and the Celts.
Wow.
So what is it about the Celts? Well, as that book said, they were one of the ancient spiritualist people. I mean, the equivalent in North America would be the Native Indians. Sorry, the Native Americans.
Native Americans.
Sorry, using the wrong terminology. I'm thinking cowboys and Indians. Apologies, everybody. So they have, I mean, their religious beliefs, basically you can carry forward. Now, you can't carry forward the Celtic beliefs because they worship spirits and hills and trees and druids and
me and many of my friends still do.
Okay, but we don't actually. They didn't have a written language, and we don't actually know what their religion.
Of course, we don't know exactly what they did. Of course, what we can come up with is the best reconstruction that we can.
Yeah, but what did carry forward was the culture.
Yes.
I mean, think about Scotland. Probably the best movie that most Americans would think of is Braveheart. You know, that Australian Aussie painting his skin blue, developing a Scottish accent, pretending to be our national hero, and getting himself drawn and quartered in England at the end of the movie after inseminating the princess with his kid. The whole movie, apart from that bit and the bits they left out, because he was actually a cannibal, but most Scots people forget that bit as well.
Was he really? Oh dear.
Yeah. Anyway, but imagine the culture that's portrayed there. Independent, fighting the English, cry freedom. Well, that's all the way through Scottish history. I mean, even look at our churches. Our spiritualist churches are independent. There is a national organisation in Britain. I was once in the circle of one of the oldest spiritualist churches in Scotland. It dates back over a century, well over a century in age. And the church president told me in all confidence, we treat the SNU's rule book as toilet paper. That is the Scottish Church's opinion of the SNU, the Scottish National Union of Spiritualists.
So they don't really think much of the union.
No. We treat it as
it's not much of a union, obviously.
Well, it's a financial organisation because they keep coming up to Scotland and trying to steal the church. Like, if it's an SNU church and if they've got a nice, valuable piece of property, they'll try and get their hands on the church, literally.
Oh, dear. Okay.
And sell the property and all the rest of it. But put that aside. Coming back to the main gist. So the churches are, even the ones that are members of the SNU, even the SNU churches in Scotland, are radically independent and will not accept any external authority. So that sort of theory has carried us forward. I mean, look at Scottish history. As well as having the largest number of churches, we also killed the most witches in history. Now,
so-called witches. They were just women or midwives or people that looked the wrong way at somebody.
I'm not saying for 1 second that all those women were mediums and all the rest of it, but a significant number of them were. You know, if you said, I'm going to read your ancestor, what did they do? They burned you.
Right, but also if they said, "Oh, you're sick, take this herb," and it got you well, or it didn't work, God forbid, and the person died, then you're responsible and you're a witch.
Absolutely, but
so it's not just mediums.
No, I agree, and I'm not saying that it is. I'm talking about Scottish culture. Why did we kill so many witches? I mean, we literally industrialized it.
Because you're assholes. Because you're assholes.
Well, look at Christianity. I mean, originally Christianity across Europe was the Catholic Church.
Right.
Germany started what we call the Protestant
The
movement.
Protestant movement, yeah.
England was one of the next. It spread across Western Europe. England was the next country to go Protestant, but the English Protestant Church, to me as a Scotsman, now I was brought up as a Protestant. If I go into an English church, it makes me puke. Now, no offense to Catholics, but the only description I could give for it as a service was it's like going into a Catholic church. They walk
I
around
like
in the
Catholic
robe.
churches and ceremony with the ritual and all. It's the closest to paganism you can get.
Oh no, you've never been in a Scottish church.
Okay, well, I will hold on to that then.
I mean, we elect our ministers. We have a national parliament that's made up of the churches. Now, it's very tamed down in modern times, but if you go back to John Knox, who was the main founder of the Scottish Protestant movement, if you think the Germans were radical, the Scottish were 5 times more radical.
Oh, I've read the histories, I know.
Yeah. So again, why were we so radical? Why were we so independent in the way that we expressed Christianity? It's the culture, which you can trace all the way back to the Celts, all the way forward.
Mm-hmm.
So when the spiritualist movement in its modern form started to arise, Scotland was much more receptive to it. And instead of having 1,000, I mean, why did spiritualism as a movement collapse? I mean, when it started, it was stronger in America than it was here. I mean, we've never had.
But it wasn't as a religion, really.
Yeah, exactly. That's
it wasn't a religion. It was a entertainment.
Yeah, that's what I'm coming back to. The Scottish culture, because of what came forward with the Celts, we were much more receptive to the religious side, as opposed to the medium. Well, I mean, it is mediumship, so that you have to involve that. But whereas in America and England, although it is stronger in England, obviously, it was entertaining mediums. In Scotland, we had the same thing, but it evolved much stronger into the churches, and the churches survived.
Right. Whereas it never evolved into churches here.
Yeah.
And it never did. Except there are a few around now, but I don't think those evolved from the original spiritualism.
Yeah. And because it's embodied in the churches, we actually have, I mean, it's probably a bad description for a religious organization, but we have an industry that produces mediums, and the mediums support the churches.
Right.
And it's a circle. Everything is set up to produce quality, direct, evidential mediumship, because that's what you need for the religion. You know, I mean, it goes. I mean, here's numbers again. I keep quoting numbers, but there are 47,000 versions of Christianity.
Yeah.
Now, not every spiritualist church is a Christian church, but a significant number of them are. So, what's the difference between a spiritualist Christian church and any other kind, apart from one other branch in America that I've heard of that I can't remember the name of?
That's helpful.
Or remember what's her name used to sit in the circle. She was into it.
Don't recall, but
anyway. It's Jamaican, African.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about.
Oh God. Anyway, we're not going to say.
Centeria. Are you talking about Centeria?
Yes, that was it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So apart from, and I don't even know if that is Christianity, but let's just give it.
It's not. Well, it's mixed with it's Christianity. Yeah. It's
right. Okay.
Partly.
So there are two versions of Christian churches that I'm aware of, where we take a different approach to what every other Christian church takes. Every other Christian church will basically say it's a matter of faith. You can't have evidence because evidence would undercut your faith. Now that enables the church to be powerful because nobody can contradict it, nobody can challenge it. I mean, that was the difference. That was the historical difference between Protestant, that wasn't the difference, but it was the problem with Catholics, which gave rise to Protestant, because you had these religious priests that had wives, that had mansions, that had estates, everything that they weren't supposed to be doing.
Right. And
they kept the people illiterate that couldn't read and couldn't challenge. And then along came the Industrial Revolution with printing presses. Then along came priests that could read the Bible and say, but it says that you should give your money away.
Right.
And all of a sudden you had a rebellion, and you had, in Germany, you had the Protestant churches.
Right. And I came over to England shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, think about it this. The Lutheran press started in Germany. One of the things Scotland didn't invent, unfortunately. And that's where Protestantism started. There's a correlation there, connection there somewhere.
Well, yes, I'm sure. It was the Saxons that came over from Germany that
So
that mixed with the Celts and the Romans. So
yeah. So get back to my point about spiritualist churches. Our attitude, and I'm not saying that we say I don't believe that this proves there's a God, because I have never had any conversation with anybody on the other side that has said there is a God, or that has said I am an angel. Well, there are angels, but let's not get into that, because again, this is not a lecture. But it proves life after death. Now, does that prove that there is a God? Maybe, maybe not. But Christianity...
It doesn't prove there's a God.
Hold on for 1 second. Because Jesus died and came back. Now, did he come back as a physical body? Or did he come back as a spirit? And the people that saw him... There's nobody that actually saw the spirit or the body of Jesus when he was resurrected actually wrote anything down.
Of course not.
Every written account is 2 or 3 generations later.
Yeah.
So I saw the spirit of Jesus becomes I saw Jesus becomes Jesus' body stood up and walked towards him.
Yes.
So
it's like a game of telephone.
Yeah. So my gut feeling, my statement is very simple. Jesus was the most powerful medium that was, if you're into that, Jesus was the most powerful medium that was ever born and ever lived.
No, because Jesus himself was a medium. He just came back. He was a spirit. He was a powerful spirit. That doesn't make you a medium, because trust me, I've had plenty of spirits come back that were not mediums.
Okay. Side issue, side debate for another day. We're not talking.
Oh, yeah. Every time he's wrong, he says it's a side issue for another day.
The Scottish people are the chosen people.
No ego at all right there. No, not at all.
We're getting a few comments here, by the way.
Oh, are we?
Yeah. Hi, Sarah. Haven't seen you for a while. How are you feeling?
Hi, Sarah.
A written account has been tampered with and changed to the years, so we actually have no idea. I absolutely agree. Hi, Patrick.
Yes.
I might actually be coming to Florida next year, so I might be in touch.
Florida.
He agrees with me.
You never mentioned that to me. Okay, well, we'll see. Glad you're feeling better, Sarah.
Yeah, much better. I'm very glad. Anyway, let's get back on topic. So, was Jesus a medium? Largely irrelevant. The point is, Christian church is founded on the belief that God was resurrected, as in life after death. Now, okay, Jesus went around saying basically everything and all the rest of it to do with Christianity that Christianity was founded on. But back to my original statement, I prove life after death constantly. I don't believe that proves there's a God, but I personally believe there is a God, but that's a matter of faith. And that's why I would describe myself as a spiritual Christian. Devi doesn't. Devi describes herself as a spiritual pagan. And let's not have a debate about what paganism is, because we're not here to discuss that.
Okay, so, no, we did that. I think we did that sometime in the last 3 months.
Sometime in the last year. We've done so many of these. Devi,
I don't know.
So that's why Scottish church. Why there are so many Scottish churches. Now, does that make us the chosen people? I'll leave that. I'm going to leave that as an open question.
It just means you can build more churches.
Well, hold on.
Chosen people. I thought the chosen people were the Jews.
Yeah, They were 2,000 years ago.
Well,
And I'm
yeah.
not getting into a religious debate. It's a joke.
Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to say for 1 second that God said you're special. I'm saying, I'm being sarcastic.
Of
But the
course.
point is, there are more spiritualist churches in Scotland than anywhere else on the planet. Full stop. There are more
True.
trained mediums per head of population in Scotland than, and I know you're going to come back at me and say that there are mediums in America, but I'm telling you quite bluntly, 95% of the mediums in America are absolute, and I'm not going to put this wording on because it's going to be beeped out, but they're not worth writing the name
You
medium
could
after
just
them.
bleep it out, but okay, I'll bleep. Go ahead and say what you're going to
Yeah.
say. Bleep.
Of the people that describe themselves as mediums in America, maybe between 5 and 10% of them have the potential to be good mediums. And I stress potential. I haven't met one American medium, good American medium, that's come into our circle that I couldn't take apart and put back together again and be 3 times more effective by the
Oh,
time.
yes, absolutely.
And that's not just me saying I'm a brilliant trainer.
No,
That's
it's absolutely true. Having been there for 3 years of it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
even the people who come in and have been doing it for years get tips from him.
Yeah. So, and I'm not unique. As I keep saying, Devi keeps saying I'm a brilliant medium. Well, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But there are mediums in Scotland that I couldn't even put myself up against. I see them working
I
in
don't
church
think I
platforms.
ever used the word brilliant. I said great.
You know what I mean,
Great.
Devi? You say, okay, great. Okay, she uses the word great, not brilliant. But I'm serious, folks. There are mediums in Scotland, I'm not going to name them here, that I would say are 5 to 10 times better than I am. You just have to see them work once. You just have to get a message from them once, and you go, oh my God, that happened to me. That's how I got into spiritualism. I was very early days. I've told this story before, but I got a reading from one medium who will remain, he's very well known in churches in Scotland. I was just lucky enough to be there. He gave me a reading shortly after my father had died. He gave me things in that reading that nobody knew about. I mean, literally nobody. He told me things that I needed to hear about my father from when he was alive, and I was gobsmacked. I have never given a reading on that scale, ever. I mean, I've given good readings, even if I say so myself, but never to that degree or that length. I mean, it wasn't a 2-minute reading. He literally, on the church platform, looked down at me and he said, can I see you after the church service? Yeah. And he took me into the church kitchen, and the two of us sat there for 45 minutes. And that basically, at that time, I was still dubious because it was literally my second or third visit into a spiritualist church. I was curious as opposed to convinced. From that point onwards, I was a religious fanatic.
And he still is. What can you do?
Yeah. So, okay. So, I mean, back to, I suppose, the basics. Let's just summarize. There are a huge number per population of churches in Scotland. We have one church per 31,000 people. I mean, let's have a look at, let's just run through some of the other numbers.
Do it quick because we've already gone over our time.
Yeah, Debbie, entertain people for a few seconds.
Entertain people. Yeah, I'm going to tap dance here for you. Just one
Yeah,
moment.
that'll be worth seeing.
No longer. I am too old to tap dance, I think, officially.
All right. Okay, hold on.
Let my cat entertain you. This is Nyx. She loves being on camera and destroying things.
So I've just found what I'm looking for. Let me just get that so I can read it. Okay, I am not going to give you all 20 countries. There are 20 countries in the world that have spiritualist churches. I'm just going to read through a few of them. So Northern Ireland, because we've got somebody here from Ireland. I'm not sure if you're North or South, Patrick, but Northern Ireland has 1 per 63,000 people. Now, I don't think that's because you've got a huge number of churches. I think that's because you've got such a small population. Wales has 1 per 68,000. And again, Wales is very small. England, which is those people just across the border, has 1 per 126,000. So that gives a UK total, because you see I'm taking the 4 countries separately. That's 1 per 97,000. So Scotland is 3 times better, because you have to invert this. Scotland is 3 times better than the rest of the UK added together.
Better.
Canada,
That's kind of a strange adjective to use. Just has more churches, maybe.
No, but no. Sorry. I do mean better. I'm going to pick you up on that, Debbie. What I mean by better is very simple. We have organizations, whether you're religious or not, you just have to accept this works. We have organizations that train mediums in a methodology that you yourself are trained in. The Scottish methodology, which is what we sell and train in America, but that methodology slightly different because I've tweaked it to a certain degree for America. But that is direct. It's a methodology developed by the churches. I tried to duplicate it online, but my dream is to have 20 churches working together across America before I die. But that's neither here nor there. Right. So let's look at the other English-speaking countries.
Okay.
So let's start with Kanzig first. Canada, 1 per 2.2 million. New Zealand's doing quite well, 1 per 500,000. However,
it's better, but they also have a very small population.
Yeah, but they've also got a big problem, because I have actually trained a medium from Australia who went over to New Zealand, started to work in the churches, and had a heart attack when she got there, because the New Zealand churches are not true spiritualist churches, because the mediums don't do spiritualist evidence, they do psychic. They literally get up on the platform and do psychic messages, and they're open about it. They're on, it's not
right.
It's not me pretending to be a spiritualist. They are literally getting up on platform and doing psychic messages. So she kind of had a culture shock.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Australia, a little bit worse than New Zealand, but you can't make the connection here that they're small. Australia is 1 per 534,000. Still 6 times better than America. I actually know a Scottish medium there that runs a church who sat in the same circle. One of these days, I'm going to arrange to go out and work in her church. If you're watching, I'm coming, and you know who you are.
And I'm coming on that trip. I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about the Catholic Church. If you look at Italy's got 1 per 59,000. Now that kind of flabbergasts me.
Yes. Well,
Actually, that is better than every other Celtic country here in Britain.
Except Italians are very, very into ancestors and spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, that brings us back to places like Spain, that's got 1 to 11.9 million. Sweden, that's got 1 at 10.5 million, which is a lot worse than America.
Oh, yeah. They probably just have one church or something.
Yeah. But let's remember, when we're talking about America, this is where the Fox sisters started.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the entire modern spiritualist movement started. This is the country that's had the first female candidate for the United States president who was an active medium when she did it. Yeah. She didn't have a very successful attempt at doing it. But
no, because women weren't allowed to vote yet. So.
Yeah, and she was in jail on the day of the election.
Yes, that too.
But still, they were strong. She was strong enough to stand for the presidency. So back to what I was talking about, 3.35 million. One church per 3.35 million people.
So he wants to spread the love here in America.
I want to spread the love and hate of Scottish spiritualist churches to America. Fire and brimstone. We are the chosen people. We're going to show you how.
Oh,
Look, I can prove in one sentence that we are the chosen people.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
The real chosen people had to get God to split the sea. What sea was it? Was it the Black Sea or
the Red Sea? The Red Sea.
To come and split the Red Sea for them. Scotland, being the practical people that we are, Didn't have to split the sea. We just invented the flush toilet.
Okay, I think there were slightly different purposes involved. I thought you were going to say we invented the boat, but that's not true anyways.
We're much more practical people.
I am thankful for the guy who invented the flush toilet, though.
Well,
his name was Crapper, wasn't it?
Hmm?
I think his name was Crapper.
Honestly, don't have an idea. Don't have
Yeah.
a clue. Okay.
Hello, Claire, and hello, Joseph. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
But we're about to sign off, but thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Okay, everybody. So let's wrap up. If you're wondering what Devi and I are doing here, we are two mediums. The purpose of this talk is every week we sit here and talk about something that other mediums won't dare talk about. And we've covered a lot of topics. We do a lot of things. We do cards with Marc, which is where I sit and show off my card collection. I really don't like cards, but it's an entertaining half hour. We do rapid fire. We've started doing the rapid fire streaming, which is basically me showing off and doing readings.
Him showing off, yeah.
Yeah. But basically we did one last Sunday, and I did 40 readings in one go. My personal best is 55, and I'm aiming to do 100. So if you're watching, watch for that. Please come back, because we really do need to get more people there.
Come back. We need more people there. Absolutely.
We used to do walks on Sunday, which we are still doing, but we're not putting them on stream anymore. We're putting them in our Telegram group, because we have to give the people in the Telegram group some reward for joining up and chatting to us.
So join our Telegram group.
Yep. Oh, but you're jumping ahead. I was going to get there.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And we've got a new show starting up, which is Marc being interviewed by Ying. Ying is my wife, and we kind of worked on the theory that she knows me a lot better than Devi. I mean, she sleeps with me. Devi doesn't.
I should hope not.
And you can also tell I've got a sense of humor. So does Devi, the way she's laughing. So we're going to start doing that over this month. Now, we started 3 months ago. We started putting an overall theme over everything that we do. Last 3 months, it was, what was the theme?
Feminism and spiritualism.
Yeah. Basically just talking about the fact that 95% of spiritualists are females. This time, we're talking about Scotland. As you can see, we started off on the number of churches. We have dropped hints about some of the other topics we're going to cover over the next 3 months. But trust me, we're going to places like under Scottish kilts that you don't want to know anything about.
He just won't let that go. We're going to have to talk about it. Okay.
Oh, we're going to have a big talk about American kilts as well. American men don't wear kilts. They wear miniskirts.
Well, not all of them. You can't say that in general. Because the men I know that wear kilts, all of them are below the knee.
But the vast majority I have seen, and I'm talking about going to a Scottish fair.
That's because they grab their wife's kilts because they don't have one.
Any old excuse. Anyway, we're going to subjects about Scottish, and we're not calling it Scottish, we're calling it Celtic. So Patrick from Ireland, you're welcome to come and take part. Okay, so we do have a page called markstewartmedium.com/network. That's where you find everything. That's where you find the connections. So let me just put some things up for you to have a look at. That's the page where you can find out all about it. If you want to get a newsletter with warnings about what we're doing, when we're doing it, go to there, fill out the form. Please follow us on YouTube. We do stream this to Facebook as well, but Facebook basically deletes the videos 3 months after we stream them. I could repost them, but honestly, if Facebook's going to delete them, I just can't be bothered. Just go to Scottish Medium on YouTube and follow us there. Everything that we've done, you'll find there. And we're talking about 200 videos. So I think that'll be it. If you've enjoyed tonight, you can really, really go to, I was going to say hell, but that's probably too relative. If you would like to come to one of the circles that we were talking about, go there. calendly.com/Mark Stewart Medium. Everything that we do follows that format, / and then open-circle-workshop. The rapid fire one is, I can't remember, but follows the same format.
I can't stop yawning. I'm apologizing right now.
That's okay.
Mark, I guess you're boring.
Join us on Telegram. Seriously, folks, that's interactive. There's a very small community of about 20 odd people there that are a lot more active than we are. Basically, log on there. You can ask us questions. We'll get back to you. There it is again. TikTok, we broadcast a lot of stuff on TikTok. A lot of the stuff that we do gets re-edited by AI into shorter videos. The highest viewing figure I've ever had there was 143,000. I'm hoping to get back up to that kind of number again.
Right.
Not for the same reasons. Let's not go into that.
We won't. You can look for yourself if you're interested.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure, everybody. And it's time to say goodnight. I see the numbers are dropping.
Good night. Thank you all for coming and for watching if you're watching it later, or for listening if you're listening to it later.
If you haven't fallen asleep. If you've fallen asleep, then just get lost. And if you really want to see what I'm talking about, like Devi next year, go and buy yourself a ticket, get on a plane, and come to Scotland. I have brought 2 American mediums to Scotland, and they both went when they got here. So trust me, it's worth the trip. But not to go around the tourist spots, but to actually go around the churches. Okay,
we will do it when we get there. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great week.
Good night.